you like mysteries, you'll like Anza-Borrego. This desert hides things. It looks inhospitable, but it's full of life. It looks mostly abandoned, but it's full of history. It looks monotonous, but it's full of adventure. This is one of the most remarkable wilderness areas in the United States. Vast, rugged, wild. In this video, I'll bring together what I've learned over a decade of exploring the park, where to find food and lodging, an intro to the region's human and natural history, and some of the best things to see and do while you're visiting. I'll also share some tips for staying safe and overcoming some of the challenges of navigating this unique landscape. If you're just looking for information on camping, I've put together a separate video guide to camping options in Anza-Borrego, which I'll link to in the description below. Covering 915 square miles, Anza-Borrego Desert State Park is California's largest state park. The terrain is a mix of desert mountains and valleys, and the tall mountain ranges to the north and west stand between the park's desert basins and the dense urban sprawl of San Diego and the greater Los Angeles metropolitan area. Assuming decent traffic, and I know that's something you should never assume in Southern California, it's around a 2-hour drive from San Diego and a 3-hour drive from downtown Los Angeles. You can either cross the mountain ranges to the west or approach from the Coachella Valley to the north or Yuma to the east. Anza-Borrego sits mostly in eastern San Diego County, with portions that reach into Imperial and Riverside counties. Part of what makes it such a hidden gem is that it takes some work to get here from populated areas. And the tall mountain ranges to the north and west stand between the park's desert basins and the dense urban sprawl of San Diego and the greater Los Angeles metropolitan area. Because the park is so large and rugged, knowing where to start is half the battle. In most cases, the best base camp is the town of Borrego Springs. I think of Christmas Circle, the big roundabout in the middle of town, as a central reference point for the whole area. That said, Borrego Springs is located in the northwestern portion of the park and may not be the most convenient starting point for reaching areas in the southern and eastern points of the park. You might find that campgrounds in those areas are a better option to set up base camp. Located just outside of town, the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park Visitors Center is absolutely worth a visit. The center has an interesting building set into the ground and made of stone, and the exhibits inside are a great way to learn about the natural and human history of the area. In my experience, the rangers are friendly and very helpful for learning about current conditions, road access, wildflower reports, and trail ideas. The center is also the starting point for some short, easy nature hikes. You can explore these trails on your own, or, if the timing lines up, take a ranger-led hike. Here, we joined one of the Junior Ranger programs where kids learned about the various desert plants around the center. These include prickly cholla cactuses, creosote bush, and the spindly ocotillo that are to Anza-Borrego what Joshua trees are to Joshua Tree National Park. Iconic. In addition to the Visitors Center, there are a few other places we like to visit in town. The Borrego Art Institute is an art gallery and shop just off Christmas Circle. The art gallery is free to visit and has always had interesting exhibits. Behind the building is an art park that has a community garden, orchard, and a collection of exhibits about desert gardening, farming, and landscaping. Along the main street, there are various shops, art galleries, and a couple of grocery stores. If you'd like to do some shopping and support a good cause, the Anza-Borrego Desert Natural History Association has a store that helps support their mission of protecting the park's sensitive landscapes. Anza-Borrego is an international dark sky park, and staying overnight is one of the best ways to experience it. There are 3 reservable state campgrounds, plus numerous primitive campgrounds and dispersed camping options throughout the park. Borrego Palm Canyon Campground is the most convenient to Borrego Springs. Many primitive campgrounds in the park are first come, first served, and most are wonderfully quiet. As I said before, I've put together a separate video guide to camping in Anza-Borrego, which I'll link to in the description below. If you want a roof over your head, Borrego Springs has several solid options. Palm Canyon Hotel and RV Resort is a favorite. Retro, relaxed, and a great family base camp. If you're looking to splurge, La Casa del Zorro is a more high-end desert oasis. As for restaurants, Red Ocotillo is a great breakfast place. Carly's is more of a diner vibe and has live music at night sometimes. Michael's at Borrego is fairly new, a restaurant next to the Borrego Art Institute, and has a modern interior and serves American cuisine. There are other restaurants in town, but these are 3 I've eaten at regularly and enjoyed. When you visit Borrego Springs, I highly recommend checking out the area's famous sky art sculptures. These large-scale works of art were the brainchild of Dennis Avery, the owner of Galleta Meadows estate, who commissioned Southern California artist Ricardo Braceda to create them. The 130 sculptures are spread over 1,500 acres near Borrego Springs, land that Avery purchased for conservation purposes. The sculptures include a wide range of creatures, from dragons to rattlesnakes to giant crickets. They also include a few human subjects, including a priest and his dog, a prospector and his horse, and my favorite, a couple of folks getting rowdy in a Jeep. I'll include a link to more information on the sculptures, including a map of their locations, in the description below. Borrego Springs is a fun, quirky little town, but the primary reason to visit Anza-Borrego is to explore the park's remarkable natural landscapes. If you aren't accustomed to the desert, at first glance, Anza-Borrego can appear drab and lifeless. Sure, the vast scale of the landscape is certainly dramatic, but from a distance, one could be forgiven for writing it off as all sand and scrub. In fact, the park offers a remarkable variety of geologic wonders, a surprising abundance of plant and animal species, and fascinating remnants of the ancient and not so ancient humans who have called this desert home. To really appreciate the park, it helps to understand how this place came to be. Much of this desert was once made up of ancient lake basins. Over time, rivers, including the Colorado River, carried enormous amounts of sand and sediment here, burying the region under layer after layer of material. Those sediments built up thousands of feet thick. Later, powerful tectonic forces along the nearby fault lines lifted and tilted those layers back toward the surface. Hidden within those layers is an extraordinary fossil record, preserving millions of years of life from a time when this landscape supported lakes, grasslands, and large Ice Age animals like mammoths and saber-toothed cats. In this dry climate, erosion happens in bursts, rare but violent flash floods that carve washes, slot canyons, and badlands into the exposed rock. What you see today is geology laid bare, a desert shaped by water, tectonic activity, and time. Lots of time. The park is home to hundreds of plant species, many uniquely adapted to survive extreme heat and long droughts. Ocotillo burst into flame-red blooms after rain. Cholla and barrel cactus thrive where almost nothing else can. And in spring, desert wildflowers transform the landscape, sometimes subtly and sometimes explosively. Spring wildflower viewing, especially after a rainy winter, feeds buzz of a superbloom. Some years attracts a crush of visitors to the area. So expect crowds during those times. The wildlife of the park is just as diverse. Desert bighorn sheep move effortlessly across steep, rocky terrain, while coyotes, foxes, bobcats, and mountain lions roam the backcountry. Reptiles like lizards and rattlesnakes are common sights on warm days, and birds are everywhere, from roadrunners darting across washes to raptors circling high above the badlands. Much of this life is easy to miss at first. Many animals are nocturnal, seasonal, or expertly camouflaged, but with attention and luck, you may spot them. Humans have lived in and traveled through this desert for thousands of years. Long before the park existed, the land was home to Native American groups, including the Kumeyaay and Cahuilla, who moved seasonally through the region, following water sources and trade routes. Evidence of their presence, trade corridors, campsites, and rock art, can still be found in and around the park. There are a number of places in the park where you can see holes in rocks known as morteros, where the native people would grind plants for food. Spanish explorers passed through the area in the 1700s, and the name Anza-Borrego combines references to the Spanish explorer Juan Bautista de Anza and the Borrego bighorn sheep that live in the region. The Spanish were later followed by Mexican ranchers and American settlers. In the 19th century, Anza-Borrego became part of major stagecoach routes, connecting Southern California to the rest of the country. Harsh conditions made permanent settlement difficult, but the desert remained an important corridor for travel and trade. There are more adventures to be had in Anza-Borrego than I can cover in this video. I've been exploring the park for nearly 15 years, and I still discover surprises every visit. Here I'll share some of my favorite places to go and things to do, starting with points of interest that are closer to Borrego Springs, then moving further afield. I'll include links to more information about each place in the description below. If you're in Borrego Springs, two of the most convenient hiking trails are located in the mountains just west of town. Borrego Palm Canyon Trail is just 1.5 miles out and back and follows a creek that brings you to a palm oasis. Check with the Visitors Center about whether the oasis is accessible, as it burned in a fire a few years back and was off limits as it recovered. Nearby, a more challenging hike, Hellhole Canyon Trail, is a moderate 5-mile round trip that starts at the State Park Visitors Center and brings you to a waterfall and another palm oasis. The most popular hike in the park is probably the Slot, a tight canyon about a 20-minute drive southeast of Borrego Springs. This hike can get very crowded on weekends and cooler months, and the Park Service sometimes limits access, which means you may have to wait to get in. That said, there's a reason the Slot is so popular, and I recommend a visit, especially during the week when it's less crowded. Wow, look at that. That's amazing. Whoa.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, that is...
Oh, imagine the echo.
Oh, it's giving me...
Imagine the echo.
Giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For some reason, it took me years to finally visit Fonts Point, an overlook that is arguably Anza-Borrego's most famous destination. Fonts Point offers one of the most expansive desert views in Southern California, and if I'd realized how epic it was, I would have visited sooner. From Borrego Springs, it takes about 25 minutes driving to get to Fonts Point. From the point, you're looking out over the Borrego Badlands, miles of eroded ridges and canyons, with sightlines that can stretch all the way toward the Salton Sea and the distant mountain ranges on a clear day. Sunrise and sunset here are especially dramatic, as the light brings out the texture and color of the Badlands below. Getting to Fonts Point is part of the experience. The final approach follows a sandy, unpaved wash. A high-clearance vehicle, or at least a modern SUV, are strongly recommended, and four-wheel drive is a good idea after rain when conditions can change quickly. There's no formal parking lot or guardrail at the overlook, just open desert and big views, so keep a close eye on kids. Fonts Point and the Slot are located in the Borrego Badlands, which comprise a significant portion of the eastern side of the park. The area offers an extensive network of off-road trails that wind through remote washes and canyons and are a lot of fun to explore in a capable vehicle. If you want to go adventuring in this area, be sure to bring a good map and, if using GPS apps, that you have downloaded the maps to your device, as mobile service is spotty at best. A portion of these badlands extend into Ocotillo Wells SVRA, or State Vehicle Recreation Area, which is separate from Anza-Borrego Desert State Park and is dedicated to off-road activities. Located about 30 minutes from Borrego Springs, Ocotillo Wells spans roughly 85,000 acres of open desert terrain sandwiched between County Route S22, also known as Borrego Salton Seaway, on the north side, and County Route 78 on the south side. You can access this off-roading terrain from either side. The area features wind-sculpted sand dunes, rugged badlands, and unique geologic formations like geothermal vents, a collection of pumpkin-shaped rocks known as the Pumpkin Patch, and a fossilized ancient ocean reef. On the north side of the SRVA, Truck Haven 4x4 training area is a fenced-in off-road playground that features obstacles ranging in difficulty from easy to very difficult. Features include jumbles of rocks, concrete pipes, and railroad ties, steep and sandy hill climbs, and near-vertical concrete faces that simulate extreme rock crawling features. It's located about 15 minutes east of the Fonts Point turnoff on County Road S22. If you're looking for a big view for little effort, Bill Canyon Trail, located in Yaqui Pass to the southeast of Borrego Springs, won't disappoint. The trail starts at Yaqui Pass Primitive Campground, which is really just a big gravel and dirt parking lot. The hike is only 1.2 miles round trip and brings you through a landscape rich with desert plants to the Mezcal Bajada overlook and an epic view. The wide expanse is home to the San Felipe Wash, a network of seasonal streams known as arroyos that eventually empty into the Salton Sea. Across the valley to the south are the Vallecito Mountains and Pinon Mountains, two ranges that divide Anza-Borrego into distinct sections. Moving further south, Blair Valley and Little Blair Valley are places we visit quite often. It's a great spot for dispersed camping, and there are some interesting hikes in the area. The two valleys are surrounded by mountains and separated in part by a ridgeline that runs between them. Just off the road, Blair Valley has a designated primitive camping area with a vault toilet. Pictograph Trail is a mellow 2-mile out-and-back trail that starts in Little Blair Valley and brings hikers to a boulder covered in pictographs painted hundreds of years ago by Kumeyaay artists. There's a neat cave and a pile of boulders to explore at the trailhead, and the pictographs are something special. It goes without saying, but please treat them with respect. Marshall South Home Trail is a 1.3-mile round-trip hike located on the east side of Blair Valley that brings you to the abandoned outpost of Marshall South and his family, who homesteaded in this remote desert location in the 1930s and 40s. If you have time while you're in the area, a visit to Agua Caliente County Park is well worth your time. The park is managed by San Diego County and home to a very nice campground. But even if you aren't camping, it's worth checking out the park's hot springs, which are housed inside an enclosed bathhouse. You can pay a day-use fee to soak in the hot spring pool, though it's limited to people 14 years old and older. There's also an outdoor kids' hot spring pool and a swimming pool. The campground is also the trailhead for Moonlight Canyon Trail, a moderate 2.2-mile loop hike that includes a short slot canyon section. If you're looking for a more rugged adventure, Canyon Sin Nombre is one of the more accessible and well-known off-road areas in the park. The canyon, which is located about 20 minutes drive southeast of Agua Caliente County Park, cuts through mudstone canyons, sandy washes, and includes a slot canyon hike, without requiring extreme driving skills or heavy modifications to your vehicle. While you can make this trip in a capable SUV, if there's been rain in recent days, I definitely recommend a 4-wheel drive and decent tires. Mud here can get sticky and deep fast. After passing through Canyon Sin Nombre, you can head northwest along desert washes and explore badlands, mud caves, an old stagecoach stop, and a very out-of-place Hollywood and Vine street sign. The details of exploring off-road in this area of the park are beyond the scope of this video, but there's plenty of info on OutdoorSoCal.com and other videos on this channel. I'll also include links to info below. Another fascinating place to explore is in the vicinity of Split Mountain and Fish Creek Wash. This region is situated on the eastern side of the Carrizo Badlands and Vallecito Mountains, which separate it from the area where Blair Valley, Agua Caliente, and Canyon Sin Nombre are located. While it is possible to drive directly through the Badlands and Vallecito Mountains to get there, It is a challenging and remote off-road adventure that requires planning and highly capable vehicles. Most people will want to access the area by coming from the small town of Ocotillo Wells to the north. Fish Creek Wash Road cuts straight through the towering canyon walls and folded rock layers of Split Mountain, following a broad sandy wash shaped by flash floods. The road is generally passable to high-clearance vehicles, but conditions can change quickly after storms, and four-wheel drive is a good idea if you plan to explore deeper into the area. Tucked along the wash is Fish Creek Primitive Campground. It's a simple setup, vault toilets, no water, but if you're looking for a remote campground, this is hard to beat, especially at night under dark desert skies. If you visit this area, make sure to check out the Wind Caves. A short, steep trail climbs out of the wash to a series of sandstone caves carved by wind and erosion. From here, you can see sweeping views across the Badlands. From the Wind Caves, you can also see the Elephant Knees, a geologic formation of eroded mud and siltstone topped by a dark layer of ancient reef. We've only scratched the surface of the many adventures Anza-Borrego has to offer. Places I covered here are some of my favorite things to do, and I can highly recommend any of them if you are visiting the park for the first time. As I mentioned before, other videos on my channel go deeper into off-roading, hiking, and camping options in the park. And the OutdoorSoCal website offers many guides as well. Also, please consider subscribing to our email newsletter, which provides news and guides to outdoor adventure in Southern California and beyond. I'll put a link in the description. When you visit Anza-Borrego, have fun, be safe, and please respect the area and leave no trace. The desert may be an extreme environment, but it also is extremely sensitive to human impact. In particular, please only drive on designated trails and off-road areas, and don't start campfires outside of fire pits. I hope this was helpful, and if you see me out there driving in my silver Jeep or whatever I happen to be driving at the time, give me a shout. It's one of the best places in the park to see the raw mechanics of desert geology on display.